Hi everyone, Alexa here from the blog theduvallhomestead.com, and today I'm going to take you along as I have a midwife appointment and then talk to you a little bit about my second trimester. If you have been following along here, you know that I posted a first trimester update, so this is the second trimester update, and I can't believe it's already a second trimester update, but I thought it'd be helpful to provide little updates along the way in case you are expecting to be pregnant or wanting to get pregnant or are pregnant, or you've already had babies and you just like hearing about pregnancy. I personally love reading about pregnancy and hearing other people's stories long before I was pregnant. So it is the morning time right now. I'm just finishing up kind of the morning chores, and the midwife should be here in about half an hour. So I will talk to you after that. Alright, so just finished the midwife appointment, so I thought I'd give you a little update and also reflect on the second trimester in general, because that is super helpful if you are in your first trimester or just wondering kind of what happens each trimester. I will just share a little bit about our story. The midwife appointment went well. We have a midwife who comes over to our house, which is awesome. And we talk about how I'm feeling, what's new, we feel the baby, check the heartbeat, and any other thing that needs to be done, we do. So I'm at the end of my 27th week right now, entering week 28 next week, and so I'm officially about to start my third trimester, kind of already starting depending on who you ask. I'll give you a little update and then give you a little bump shot because my bump is definitely bumping now. So I don't really know what to update you on because I feel like there's not much to say, but the baby's heartbeat was really good. I think she said it was in the 140s. The baby was sitting on my right side and we could feel kind of where the baby was at, which was really fun. Baby was kicking a lot while we were feeling the baby and we could see my belly kind of moving with the kicks, which is super fun. We don't know if we're having a boy or a girl yet. We're gonna be surprised at the birth. So right now we just say the baby, or we say he. We keep saying he just because it seems to be more generic than saying he or she. There's not really much else to update in terms of the appointments. I did have another blood draw quickly today, actually just at home, for something. I can't remember what it was for. That's something about iron levels, I think, but it's just standard to make sure that everything is healthy. We are trying to do everything preventatively so that there aren't any complications later on and not waiting for something to go wrong to act. We're trying to make sure that everything is looking good and healthy so that ideally nothing does go wrong, especially in the final hour. So that's kind of our approach to this pregnancy. So the second trimester started after the last video I updated you on. I was talking about the first trimester and how I just had to eat a lot to stay, feeling good. How, I felt kind of sick, but I wasn't actually sick. And that's the thing about the first trimester. It's weird. It's like you feel like you don't want to eat, but eating is what makes you feel better. So I learned that, did that. Second trimester, I could tell I was feeling better at about week 16 or so, that the nighttime, for me it was nighttime sickness, it wasn't morning sickness. I felt great in the mornings, but the nighttime, and it wasn't sickness, I wasn't sick, it was just that I wasn't, like, food didn't sound good kind of thing. And that really didn't go away until probably like week 16 fully. And then I still had it on and off a little bit and kind of various symptoms until probably week 20 or so. I think week 20 was when I started feeling quote normal, like I would have days where I didn't even feel pregnant. However, most of the time I did feel very pregnant, which is a good thing because it's like I like to know that my baby's eating. But the new things that happened in the second trimester for me were back pain and digestive pain. Not to sound like a downer, or this might be TMI, but your intestines are kind of pushed up near your rib cage and when your belly starts to grow, and so everything just it was hard to eat sometimes because I felt like I couldn't eat as much or as quickly as I maybe did before. So I just had to slow everything down, eat less at a time so that things could move, properly. Again, might be TMI, but that's just how it was for me. Things that helped with that were, exercise, walking. So I learned how to cope with that. I feel like with pregnancy, there's always something around the corner that you don't know about, some symptom or random pain or, you know, something that's going to be kind of coming your way that lets you know your baby is happy and healthy, and you don't really, you know, it takes you a couple weeks to figure out how to deal with it. Then once you figure it out, it's like over and then there's something else. But, you know, it's all really good training because that's how it's going to be with the baby anyway. So it's just getting your body ready for your sweet little baby. I also had back pain that I learned how to deal with just with some pressure. I also used my essential oils. Lavender and frankincense have been really great for me in pregnancy, just even smelling them, but I also put them into lotions. Really great for me in pregnancy, just even smelling them, but I also put them into lotions, and sometimes even just directly on the skin with coconut oil if I need to really calm down an area. I can't tell you how beneficial the lavender frankincense was for my stomach after dinner. Just putting it right on there, rubbing it with coconut oil, really calmed things down. So I've been doing a lot of that. I told you in my first trimester update that I was sewing baby diaper inserts and that I was making lotions and stuff, and that has only continued. On the sewing front, the exciting news is that I got a serger, and anyone who sews knows how exciting it is to use a serger. I haven't used it yet. I still have to thread it, which, holy cow, looks really complicated. Anyway, but I'm going to be using that for the baby diaper insert, so I'm really excited. So I'll have an update for you on all the things I sewed for the baby and more nursery stuff soon. Another thing in the second trimester that I've done is just been eating a lot more. Now that my appetite is fully back, I eat, you know, 3 meals a day, and then I have a lot of snacks. So I have hard-boiled eggs or peanut butter or fruit or anything I can get my hands on. So something that's been challenging, I guess, has just been learning how to feed myself enough and properly, because what you don't want to do is, you know, if you're hungry, to eat ice cream, for example. Instead, I am trying to feed myself with, you know, nourishing foods, which I'm actually not craving anything that's not healthy, which is, I guess I'm lucky, I don't know. I crave things like eggs and peanut butter and bananas, fruit. Lately I've been craving bone broth, but I had not craved that most of my second trimester. In fact, that didn't sound good at all for a while. But luckily I'm craving it now, which is really good because I really wanted that to be a big part of the pregnancy because bone broth is so good for you. But my first trimester, I was like not making it at all. I also am continuing up with the exercise, although I've had to modify my exercises quite a bit. If you know me at all, you know that I love to work out. I love all workouts, from walking to yoga to high intensity. I used to be a professional dancer, and so I have kind of a natural inclination to be very athletic and very active, and it's just kind of how I was raised because I was a gymnast my whole life and then I became a professional dancer, and so my body just likes to move. And so I was not one of the people who in pregnancy was wanting to sit on the couch and rest, although there's nothing wrong with that, and I have learned that I actually do need to do that more. However, exercising and moving makes me feel so much better, and the back pain that I was feeling, or digestive pain, it went away when I would exercise. So I made it a point to exercise every day, especially in the evenings, even if it was lower intensity. And every week I have learned that I've been scaling back on the exercise a little bit because there's only so much I can do with a bigger belly. But I will say that even in the first trimester, exercise was something that took away the nausea, just made me feel so good. So working for me really well. In terms of talking about the actual birth, which I guess we can do now that I am almost at week 28, I've been studying spinning babies, and that is a method where you learn about the physicality of birth and how to get your body in the most open and ready position to properly birth your baby and to get your baby in the right position to have an easier birth. So I've been doing those exercises, working on that. We also have taken a Bradley method birth class. If you don't know what the Bradley method is, it is a method that was developed a long time ago for birthing, and it focuses on how to relax in birth. And the theory is that if a woman is not relaxed, birth is a lot more difficult. And it also talks about husband coach birthing, so it kind of puts your husband in the seat of a coach and it teaches him how to support you in what ways you need to be supported. We actually, John and I attended a class, and we will attend class every week for the next 3 months on that method. I'm actually quite familiar with it. My mom was a Bradley instructor back in the day. And so when I was a little kid, she would use the Bradley methods when we were kids to get us to calm down. So I've been doing it for a long time, but I want to refresh on all of it, and my husband is new to it, so we are going to learn it together. So it's going to be really fun. And we took our first class, and so we're very excited about that. My book collection, I think I mentioned last time I was reading a bunch of books. In fact, I wrote a blog post, and I will link it below, from the first trimester of all of the books my goals were, to read all of them. And I'm actually ahead of schedule. So I have read all of them except for one, and the last one I saved for the third trimester. And I've already started it, and so I'm actually ahead of schedule. So I will link those books again below, and now that I've been through them all, I can say I'm very happy with my choices. I kind of started with the Bradley husband-based coaching book, and then in that book he referenced like a breastfeeding book, and he referenced a book about medicine and doctors and children. Each book recommended other books, and so I kind of went with their recommendations, bought one of each kind of so that I felt I was going to be educated enough to be pregnant, give birth, and have the newborn and beyond. So we have lots of materials now, so I've been reading through all of those, and I'm almost done, so I'm really excited. My recommendation, I would say get books. If you are becoming pregnant, first, second, third time, whatever, you can never have enough education, and the more informed you are, the better decisions you make. So, all right, in the time that I'm filming this video, the sun has come out and now it's warm. So the other thing I talked about in my last video was making homemade lotions and products for myself and for the baby. So I have made so many lotions. That's one symptom that I had a lot in the second trimester. Not so much now at week 27, but like week 20, 16 through 24 probably. Itchy skin, because your skin is stretching, and it just was very uncomfortable. Like my legs were itchy, my stomach's itchy, and so the lotions were really helpful. So I did homemade lotion with just shea butter, or I'd use cocoa butter, or both shea nut oil or jojoba oil or coconut oil, and then of course all of the essential oils that I've been talking about. The lavender and frankincense are some of my favorites, but also tea tree is good for the skin, geranium, and rose oil. I can't think of more off the top of my head, but I will list those in the blog post that I read about, so I will link that below if you're interested in knowing what oils help with like stretch marks and whatnot. Because I've seen it be really effective for me. I'll give you a little nursery update. So we have 2 bedrooms upstairs. One was a guest room and the other one was my office. And so in order to have a nursery, we had to kind of change the room setup. So we got rid of the guest room, which had a queen size bed in it, so we had to get rid of the bed. So we've done that. We brought my office into one other room. So now we have a designated nursery. Now the nursery is not set up yet. We do have a changing table. We have a crib. It's actually my old crib that my brother and I both used. And of course I have a ton of sewing projects that are in progress in that room. We don't have the nursery set up yet, but we have everything we need to set it up, which is really exciting because now all we need is kind of the time to clear it all out. I need to finish the sewing projects, and then we need to set the crib up, which shouldn't take that long, and it really doesn't need to be done right now. We're not going to be putting the baby in a crib anytime soon. So I will make a separate video on the nursery as soon as we have a little bit more to show for it. So that's coming. And I will give you a little bump shot. I think I covered all of it. I think that's it for my second trimester update. I will try to film the third trimester update before I have the baby because I seem to be on a path where I filmed the first trimester one after the first trimester and the second trimester one at the very end of second trimester. So I won't keep you waiting that long because I think once I get to that point, I'll probably film a video really quick, and then the next one will be when the baby comes. So that'll be really exciting to share. All right, well, if you're brand new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Every week I post new farm-to-table recipes and homemade natural living from our homestead here in Duvall. Thank you so much for stopping by the Duvall Homestead.